So here's how to find 1,000 qualified leads on Twitter to find for your service or product. And here's what we've been doing to generate qualified positive responses with these leads, and also what that we've been using for our software users to help them actually find qualified leads on Twitter and not just spam a bunch of people with no relevance at all. Just like Stefan, who booked a call within his first 2,000 DMs of sending on Scrapely, instead of having to send 10,000 cold emails or run paid ads, he just found a good lead list with a simple offer and then he just sent it. Or also with another user who signed on and within 24 hours of sending already got 2 qualified leads with just 50 DMs sent. So I'm going to show you the actual system of what that we're using, and once that you can actually understand this, it'll take you less than 10 minutes to find qualified leads on Twitter, and then you can start messaging them, right? So here's the very first step that we use for this. So we use Scrapely to actually find and scrape the leads. On Scrapely, there is a free trial for the software. It can find the leads, it can filter them, and you can send out personalized DMs to people on Twitter with it. And you have unlimited AI credits to start sending, and you have unlimited scraping credits, so you can just keep scraping followers or following lists like I'm about to show you, right? So all that you have to do is go onto Scrapely, sign up for the free trial, and then what you can do is go to the Find Leads tab and find actual followers or followings lists and then scrape them and then export them. And I'm going to show you how to actually do that, right? So let's say I wanted to target B2B SaaS, right? So B2B SaaS companies just in general, right? But this can work for e-commerce, this can work for agency owners. There's a lot of different things that you can do here, right? So let's say I go over and she talks about B2B SaaS marketing, right? So what I can do is take her handle, put it inside of Scrapely, and then say I want to scrape all of her followers. So she has 6,400, and then I can click onto scrape, and then it'll start doing it in a few minutes. It'll be done, and then I can export these leads into a CSV, right? If you're having trouble with actually finding these leads, then the best thing that I recommend is to just use Grok and ask Grok, hey, is there any way to find 5 accounts that have less than 50,000 followers on Twitter that talk about B2B SaaS marketing or B2B SaaS go-to-market solutions, right? Which is what I wrote down over here. If the accounts are too big and they have more than 50,000 followers, this normally just means there's going to be a high ratio of just people who aren't even, let's say in this example, in B2B SaaS, if I scrape somebody with 1 million followers, right, like Alex Hormozy, there might be some people in SaaS, but a lot of them are not going to be talking about B2B SaaS, so then there's just no point. The bigger the account normally, past 50,000 followers, the follower quality just gets diluted, right? Also, it's important to make sure that they're active on Twitter, because if they're just not posting, it's not really useful, right? Because their followers might have followed them for, years, and then they just don't post. It's not relevant to them, right? So yeah, I would just do this. If you need to as well, followings lists work really well as well. So she's probably following other SaaS marketers, other people in the SaaS space. So what we can do with Scrapely, the same exact thing, just go to following, right? So this one was supposed to be onto followers, but you can go to following and scrape, and the same exact thing happens, right? So I'm going to scrape this right now, just a sample lead list, and then I'll come back once it's done. Okay, perfect. It just says that it finished. You can click onto OK, refresh the page, go back to the Find Leads tab, and then now we can just export all of these leads into a CSV, right? So now with this, we have a followings list, right? But not everybody is going to be qualified, right? And what we can do is use inside of Scrapely the followers, either their followers range or the keywords that they have inside of their description. And this can definitely work, right? Like if you put B2B SaaS, B2B marketing, go to market, you'll definitely find some leads here, right? But it's not going to capture everybody just because some bios are different. And it's just a simple kind of like binary keyword. And, obviously AI would be able to tell this way better if it can visit their website, get all of the context. It'll be way more accurate than just a simple kind of keywords description, kind of keywords filtering, right? So what we're going to do now as the final step to actually find these qualified leads is to actually use Clay. And this is a lot more accurate than just using a keywords filter, right? So what you can do is Clay is free. They have a free 7-day trial, right? And what we can do here is go over and say, where is this? I think it's blocking it. Import from CSV. And then now we can do that. We can go here, leads export, and then export that and import it inside of Clay, right? And I'm going to show you how that you can use it to qualify a lot of your Twitter leads. If you've ever done cold email or cold LinkedIn outreach, it's very similar to this. just depending on what kind of data that you're able to have, right? So what we can do here is make a new column, right? So you're going to export their name, their handle, follower, following count, and their description, right? And what we can do now is that we can add a column using AI. And this is very important to use the create or modify content, because we're not going to search up their website or anything yet. When that we have their website, then we can do that, and we can have it export their website. But just for this demo, I'm just showing you the most basic, having their name and their description and seeing if they're, in B2B SaaS, right? It's very important to use GPT-4o Mini. This one is the most efficient, cost effective, but also it's much better at reasoning than a GPT-5 Nano. It's just better. You can play around with it, but that's what we use for most of it. And then have your own GPT API key. Don't use Clay's, because Clay is going to bill you a lot more than if you just use your own API key. All of this can be found in 5 minutes by just making an OpenAI account, right? And the only things else that you want is to make sure that you only want to run it if they have a description, right? And then also the model settings. Temperature, very low. This is all going to make it so that the outputs are more accurate, and it's not trying to be as creative, because if we put onto a higher temperature, GPT is just going to be more creative and it's just going to have a larger margin of error for this classification task, right? Now, what we do, say the prompt, there's a lot of different ways to prompt this, but I'm just going to show a very simple one here. Classify if this lead, hold up, I have my camera here. Classify if this lead is a founder or part of a B2B SaaS. Lead name, say name, lead description. You put their description here, right? Very simple. If you have their website or their location, you can filter out third world countries. You can make Clay go to their website, see, is it actually a B2B SaaS website? Is it something else, right? But for now, it's just going to be very simple, just description and name. You can also go here, lead, handle. You can put their handle as well, right? And yeah, you can just say here, you are an expert B2B lead qualification assistant, right? There's a lot of different prompts that you can use. This is just to get started, right? Here we have everything correct. You can give it some examples if you want to. For this, I'm not going to. And then you can just click here, save and run these 10 rows. And then Clay is going to look at them and then decide if it's a B2B SaaS founder or SaaS CEO or not, right? And this can happen really fast. It takes about 10 minutes for 30 to 50,000 rows. And it's also extremely cheap, because you can go here. Oh, I should have made the output a lot better. Only output true if they are a founder or part of a B2B SaaS. Output false if they are not. Right? You have to be very explicit, otherwise it's just going to give reasoning and it's not going to be useful for the actual task that you need, right? I'm going to go back. It's going to start doing its thing. And then also you can see how much that it costs you on the different models. If you go here and then go total cost, and then you can actually add that as a column. If you just click here, add as a column, and then you can see, right? So for this would be, if we did it for 100,000 rows, it would only cost us $2, right? It's very, very cheap. And what we can do here is say, hey, okay, so we have false, false, true, right? So now we can see, was it actually correct? And then we can change the prompt as needed, right? So we can go here, go to their actual Twitter profile, and then see, okay, so like they're making WhatsApp chatbots, it seems, right? AI communications platform, okay, looks good. Senior manager at Google, yeah, doesn't look like a B2B SaaS founder. And then you can just run this for the entire row, right? And then very simple, once they want to export it, you can go here. You can go, where is it? Response, add as a column, create the column. It's going to give you true, false, whatever, right? And then all that you have to do is click onto here, go to filter, and then equal to true, click enter. And then now you have all of them, right? Obviously run it for all of the rows. Click here and then click run all of the rows, right? But very simple. You can now, once that it's done, you can now export this, go to actions, export, download as a CSV. And then what you can do now is go back to Scrapely, put it inside of the dashboard. Now you can actually input. And now And now what you can do is that you can import the CSV that you have here. And if you have multiple accounts, then you can just split the CSV with a CSV splitter tool. Let's say that you have 3 accounts, you have 1,000 leads that are now qualified from Clay. Then you can export it and then give each account 333 rows, right? And then boom, you've now split it that way. And then, yeah, it's very simple. Then you can start your campaign. And yeah, that's all that you really need to do with Clay. If you have their website or their location as well, which we can also export with Scrapely if needed, then you can do all of that. And that's how you can find 1,000 qualified leads on Twitter extremely fast and very efficiently. So that's all that you need to know on how to find 1,000 qualified leads on Twitter in less than 10 minutes. It's really just scraping followers and following lists, then just actually qualifying them with Clay to see if they are useful. And another advanced kind of tip that you can do is look at which profiles have the highest quality of leads, right? So maybe you scrape from one profile and they have maybe 1% lead qualification rate from Clay, right? But then you scrape another and you have 10%, right? So now you know, okay, the profiles like that probably have more qualified leads, so I should just find more of those, right? So that's really it. This will take you less than 10 minutes to get started, and that's everything that you need. So if you want to get Scrapely, there is a free trial. Go to scrapely.co/DIY. And if you want to work with my agency so we can do this all for you, run all of your outreach on Twitter, book calls onto your calendar, and you just show up to them, then go to scrapely.co. There's our whole website there, and you can book a call with us there. So hopefully this was useful. Let me know, and that's about it.